fall season finale.
What's the types of cookies?
From Kaka.
It has the word crumb in it. Cookies have crumbs.
Cakes have crumbs.
Release the ball!
2 hours of finales, all new tomorrow on Fox.
So when your parents ask what we did today, what are you going to say?
Not grand larceny.
Perfect!
Have fun sculpting the minds of the next generation, idiot!
Still got it. Can I get a sip of that juice box?
Pinto.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office arrested 2 individuals in Herman yesterday afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday night. For Fox 22 News at 10, I'm Doug Banks. The arrest happened at a residence on Deerfield Drive. Authorities say they were called to the residence to conduct a bail search involving a person previously arrested at that same house following an earlier search warrant. Trevor Cameron, 41 years old of Herman, was arrested on an outstanding warrant, which included a Maine warrant with extradition in all New England states. Christopher Cunningham, a 39-year-old transient, was arrested for a probation violation after authorities say he had contact with an individual he was prohibited from contacting. They were both taken to the Penobscot County Jail, and authorities say this marked the second search warrant served at the Herman residence. In other news, police said a New Hampshire man was arrested by Maine State Troopers after dispatchers received more than a dozen calls about the suspect driving erratically on the interstate. According to state police, the Bangor Regional Communications Center answered about 14 calls about a vehicle traveling over 100 miles per hour on I-295 in the Boatingham area yesterday afternoon. Troopers attempted to narrow down the vehicle's location. Authorities say they managed to locate the vehicle operated by 22-year-old Alexander Forsyth of Jaffrey, New Hampshire. He was stopped on I-95 in Waterville. The driver has been charged with criminal OUI and criminal speeding. In other news here on the broadcast, one man is injured after an ATV crash in Greenfield Township that resulted in a wildland fire. Crews responded around 6 p.m. on Friday to County Road in Greenfield Township, located between Milford and Greenbush. First responders say the crash resulted in the ATV catching on fire, which then spread to the nearby woods. The individual on the vehicle was transported to a local hospital with unknown injuries. They estimate around a quarter to half an acre burned in that incident.
Fires were knocked down, continuing overhaul as the Sheriff's Office, the game wardens, and the forest rangers are investigating the crash site.
The incident occurred in the area of Sunk Hayes Meadows Wildlife Refuge. Fire marshals say they are unable to determine what started a fire in Milo Friday morning. Maine Public Safety spokesperson Aaron Turcott says the Milo Fire Department responded to a structure fire a little after 5 a.m. yesterday. Turcott says when they arrived, they found a well-developed fire on the second floor of a single-family residence with flames extending to the roof area. He says the fire caused significant damage to the home, and the 2 residents were displaced. They are being assisted by the American Red Cross. Turcott says the fire marshals believe the fire started in the second-floor bathroom, but due to structural collapse within the residence, they are unable to determine the exact area or origin or the cause of the fire. An investigation is underway in Old Town after a portion of a major bridge collapsed during its reconstruction project back on Thursday. It resulted in one person being sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The Maine DOT said on Friday that they are actively collecting data and information from all involved in the aspects of the design, fabrication, and construction of that bridge. They add that they're coordinating with the Maine Department of Environmental Protection to ensure there are no concerns regarding the structure's status, saying that no significant environmental issues have been identified. The DOT will also be conducting inspections of the bridge spans and the temporary detour bridge that currently carries traffic. Their statement reads in part, quote, Maine DOT personnel are on site and are engaged with the contractor and local officials to assess the incident, gather information, conduct a thorough fact-finding review, and to determine next steps. The department will continue working with all partners involved to minimize impacts to the construction schedule and to those traveling through the area, end quote. We did reach out to the bridge contractor, Reed & Reed, for a comment, but have yet to hear back at this time. Maine's emerald ash borer quarantine has been expanded. The emerald ash borer is an invasive metallic green beetle from Asia that feeds on and kills all species of native North American ash trees. In early July, it was detected in Jackman. And earlier this month, a Hancock County professional arborist reported finding it in the town of Surrey. Both towns were outside of the regulated area. As a result, areas in Franklin, Hancock, Penobscot, and Somerset counties have been added to the quarantine areas. You can only use local or heat-treated firewood in those areas to protect forests from further damage. Both Senator Susan Collins and Senate candidate Troy Jackson spent Friday trying to earn support, and each one responded to some key questions, from ICE funding to Troy Jackson's past. Allison LaPierre spoke with both candidates and has a story.
Democratic Senate nominee Troy Jackson visited American Roots, a local union shop in Westbrook, where he met with workers and learned about the history of the workplace.
This is a little pocket that goes inside for your cell phone.
Republican Senator Susan Collins ramped up her re-election campaign with the start of her All of Maine bus tour. Collins started the tour at the Kittery Trading Post, where she met with supporters and community members before making her way up north. Today, we spoke with both candidates about key topics shaping the race, starting with the ongoing debate over ICE, including its funding along with policies and procedures. Troy Jackson with a very clear stance.
I think ICE needs to be abolished.
Collins responded by saying there were safeguards behind her funding bill to the Department of Homeland Security.
If we don't keep this agency going, we lose the Homeland Security investigations. That is a critical part of this agency.
We also asked about a resurfaced police report from 1988, first obtained by the BDN, which says Jackson broke down a door, assaulted a man, and reports him pushing a woman who remains his longtime partner.
I got in a fight with a gentleman, and I owned it back then. I admitted I was guilty, I paid the fine, and the only thing is, hearing the report in there about pushing Lana was untrue.
Collins also responded to the report.
Based on widespread reporting, it appears that he struggles to control his temper.
Lastly, both candidates spoke about why they believe they are the best candidate to win this race.
That's why I'm running for U.S. Senate, is to make sure that somebody that's working class actually brings our voice to D.C.
I work with members on both sides of the aisle, and that's the way that you get things done in Washington.
And that was Allison LaPierre reporting. Officials say the East Millinocket Fire Department is the first in the state to outfit their whole crew with new PFAS-free gear. Our Calvin White has the story.
For years, firefighters have used protective equipment made with cancer-causing chemicals. But for the first time in Maine, a fire department has received new PFAS-free turnout gear. Commonly known as forever chemicals, PFAS are man-made substances used in water repellent or fire-resistant materials. They are a key material in firefighting gear and have been linked to various health issues such as cancers and immune system disorders. Selena Charette says firefighters already have to deal with the dangers of cancer-causing materials when they enter a burning building.
Firefighters now are exposed to so much chemicals and just everything materials that are being built.
Over the years, fully PFAS-free firefighting gear has been developed, but getting the new suits can run up a large bill.
One set of gear, just a coat and the pants, you're looking at about $4,000 each. Another $500 for boots, another $500 for a helmet, $150 for a pair of gloves, another $150 for a hood. It all adds up quickly.
For the East Millinocket Fire Department, finding that kind of money for their 25-strong crew is a tough task, especially in a small town that has had a constrained budget since the town paper mill closed. However, this summer, the department received a $90,000 grant from the Gloria C. McKenzie Foundation to fund the suits. They were already looking at new gear, but would have had to upgrade slowly, one suit at a time.
For a community of this size, that's a huge grant for us. We were able to outfit all of our department with the PFAS-free gear.
We are extremely grateful for having our new gear. We really appreciate the McKenzie Foundation. This is going to protect us against cancer and be able to live a long, healthy life.
In East Millinocket, Calvin White, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the best days on the river are usually measured by the fish you catch. For one Maine fishing guide, they're also measured by the difference he leaves behind. As our Alex Schlide tells us, that Mainer is turning his passion for the water into a mission to restore it.
What started as picking up a few abandoned tires after a day on the water has grown into a personal mission to help clean up Maine's rivers.
For years, I've seen all these tires all around the river, visually see them on the shoreline. It was jokes with clients and friends about look at all the tires. And then one day I just decided I'm gonna pull some of these out.
That first haul quickly led to questions.
And people were like, why are you removing all the fish structure?
Brandon says, concerned they were right, he started digging into the history of why tires were in the river.
They're mostly all 1950s to the 80s, I'll say. And it happened because scientists and media back in the day, back then, that was our first time in society where cars were mainstream. Everybody had replaced their tires. There was billions of tires on the land. We didn't know what to do with them. And, some scientists thought it'd be a great idea to bundle them and make artificial fish structure.
Decades later, Beekridge is taking them out one by one. Just this week, he pulled out his 600th tire. And for Brandon, it wasn't just about removing trash. Brandon says the difference today is hard to miss.
When I see just how beautiful they are now, how far they've come, how clean they are, and really, like I said, the bulk of the trash is the tires.
And even after 600, Brandon says he's not done because what started as a few has turned into a mission to leave Maine's waterways a little cleaner than he found them. In Waterville, Alex Schlide for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, yesterday, a Maine veteran celebrated his 100th birthday. Donald Hancock's family held a birthday celebration for him at the Oxford Fairgrounds. Hancock served in World War II and the Korean War. He's also received the Congressional Medal of Honor for his service, and he's the only living member from his patrol to receive it. Hancock says it was the honor of his life.
Senator Collins came from Washington to present it to me. So that's kind of my special highlight of my life. I mean, you'll get something that had to be passed by an act of Congress, and that was it.
Hancock was also a longtime firefighter. The family made his celebration yesterday open to the public to make it a generational teaching moment for families across the community. All right, folks, let's turn things over to Chase Ropanak, who's in now with a first look at your forecast. Chase?
Thank you very much. A little bit cooler out there for your Sunday today. That was due to the cloud cover that moved into the region. That kept us in the mid-70s here in Bangor, low 70s further north, and you'd see some upper 70s down into the southwestern portion of the state for today. But otherwise, a little bit of a sea breeze out there, keeping you right at 70 in Rockland as well. But for tonight, those clouds that we saw this afternoon are going to lead to some rain showers that will be beneficial for us with the drought conditions we have across the state. So some nice rainfall is moving into town overnight tonight. This will arrive right around 3 a.m. or so, and it's going to linger throughout much of the overnight hours into tomorrow morning and afternoon. The showers for tomorrow will be much more lighter and scattered, but still expecting it. This will be Monday afternoon, right around 3 to 3:30 in the afternoon. You'll see those showers kind of wean down as we go towards tomorrow night, but they can linger into your Tuesday as well. So for tonight, looks like around 3 a.m. or so, those rain showers will be moving into the region, and with the low pressure in place, we'll keep our lows warm tonight, right around the low to mid 60s.
Good to know, Chase. Thank you for that report. We'll see you later on the broadcast. Folks, after the break, we'll take a look outside the state at some national stories. We'll be right back.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Right now, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500 models, with no payments for 90 days. Because you've earned this summer. Now it's time to go get it.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
You don't get to buy the government that you want.
But let's look at what Troy Jackson did.
because Troy Jackson likes to keep it in the family. When Jackson was state Senate president, his son was one of the highest paid lobbyists in town. Special interests paid his son, and Jackson changed his positions. Was it a coincidence, or was something corrupt? Troy Jackson is just another dirty politician. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The right dock should fit your shoreline and make life on the water easier, more rewarding, and more fun. When you choose Shoremaster from Hammond Lumber Company, you get all that, along with unmatched strength, versatility, and style. Shoremaster's tool-free Infinity Track system makes adding accessories a breeze. Hammond also offers polydock floating docks, perfect for deep or fluctuating waters. Transform your waterfront into your personal paradise with a Shoremaster Infinity Dock system or floating polydock system from Hammond Lumber Company.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. I'm Doug Banks. The national headlines now. Hurricane Lala downgraded to a tropical storm status, but still made a major impact across the Hawaiian Islands. The storm's destructive winds knocked out power to tens of thousands, while heavy rains led to flash flooding and even water rescues at some homes because they were swept off their foundations. Fox weather correspondent Katie Bryan has those details from Honolulu.
Torrential rain pounds Hawaii as Lala weakens to a tropical storm after its eye wall edged around the state without making landfall. And while less powerful, the storm still packed a punch, killing at least one person and threatening thousands with flash flooding.
Most of the storm has been focused on the Big Island and Maui. We've had 10 to 15 inches of rain there already. We expect 8 to 10 more inches of rain all across the state, so it's going to impact virtually all the islands.
The hardest hit area, Hawaii's Big Island, saw up to 3 feet of rain in some places. Flash floods swept several homes off their foundations near the island's southern tip.
It's going to be significant damage. I've already begun the process of starting the paperwork with our team for a major disaster declaration when it's appropriate.
Hurricane force winds also knocking down trees and power lines. At one point, more than 200,000 homes and businesses were in the dark across the state's 3 largest islands.
3 hospitals also lost power, but they have backup generators. They're going to be okay.
Meanwhile, waves of up to 25 feet battered the state's eastern-facing shoreline. And while Lala continues moving offshore, authorities warn fast-moving runoff and mudslides are still a threat, as heavy rain may loosen debris on steep mountainsides.
We don't want to be out there if you don't have to be out there, so please stay off the roads and take care of yourselves.
Hawaii's governor says damage assessment will likely begin Monday. In Honolulu, Katie Byrne, Fox Weather.
In other news, President Donald Trump signed a memorandum of understanding nearly 60 days ago on June 17th. It called for negotiating and achieving the final deal in maximum of 60 days. But the deal at this time is still in flux. Both the United States and Iran have accused the other of violating the agreement. Both sides traded strikes in the weeks after its signing. In early July, Trump said the agreement was over and the United States continued launching attacks on Iran, including on what Tehran called civilian infrastructure, killing at least 50 people. During a speech on Friday, Trump announced plans to formally claim the Strait of Hormuz for the United States. Iran's parliament speaker yesterday told reporters, quote, "I can say with complete conviction that we truly emerged victorious in this war, both militarily and politically," end quote. This current conflict between the two began in February when the United States and Israel issued joint airstrikes on Iran's sites. The Trump administration asked the court to allow the White House to continue construction on its new ballroom while it appeals a lower court's order to halt work. The Chief Justice set a deadline of Tuesday for a response by plaintiffs challenging the project. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit ruled last week Donald Trump must stop the White House ballroom's construction because it did not get approval from Congress. The panel also ruled that President Trump doesn't have the unilateral authority to build a 90,000 square foot ballroom where the White House's East Wing stood before its demolition last fall. Chief Justice John Roberts set a deadline of Tuesday for a response by plaintiffs challenging the estimated $400 million ballroom project. All right, folks, after the break, school is almost back in session. We'll talk about the challenges, changes to the federal student loan program that are impacting college students, and how 2 organizations in Waldo County have teamed up to help students who are gearing up to go back to school. Those local stories, sports, weather, and the weekend review are still to come here on Fox 22 News at 10.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salads, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
Disturbing news about threats of violence against women. Is it Graham Plattner again? No, it's Troy Jackson. When a female legislator disagreed with Jackson, he threw a water bottle at her in anger. The woman was deeply frightened. Jackson was known for bullying, and his screaming felt like intentional intimidation. His brash conduct with women raised alarm bells about his temperament. Troy Jackson, another phony we can't trust. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
I'm a 5th-generation logger from Allagash. I grew up a poor kid in a town full of poor people, doing everything right and still struggling to get ahead. And it's worse now. People in this country work so damn hard and still feel so damn broke. That's no way to live. Susan Collins keeps telling us that everything's fine, but we know it's not. We all have eyes, paychecks, and bills. We know we're getting screwed. You deserve better. I'm Troy Jackson. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salads, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. I'm Doug Banks. To local news now. Changes in the federal student loan program are impacting college students across the country. The changes were brought on by the Big Beautiful Bill Act. It includes new limits to how much a student can take out in government-backed loans and could affect some students' ability to go to college. Brad Rogers has those details.
The amount of stress I've been under this summer is just crazy.
In mid-July, Lindsay Bates got a nearly $13,000 bill from UMaine Farmington for the upcoming fall semester.
This is insanity. The bill is due tomorrow. We can't just, magically make money appear like that.
When you're looking at this bill and the financial aid part is zero, it's like, how am I going to come up with $12,000, almost $13,000 between now and the 15th of August?
As of yesterday, she still hadn't heard from the college about financial aid.
They're like, it's pending. You'll get it. You'll get it soon. You'll get it soon. And they just kept telling me to be patient and wait.
Lindsay is not alone. She knows other students who are still waiting to hear about financial aid. And from what we're told, this same scenario is taking place at college campuses across the U.S.
All of that's become a lot more complicated.
USM's Director of Financial Aid told us colleges across the country are dealing with some of these same delays brought on by federal changes to student loan eligibility and new limits on student financial aid.
So it's the amount of aid that's been tricky to determine. The nitty-gritty of how many dollars can you borrow, that's really occupied a lot of our time this summer.
Parent Plus loans now have a $20,000 annual cap with a 4-year limit of $65,000. Another concern among colleges is the feds eliminating the Graduate Plus loan program for many grad students.
Our nurses that we need so badly, and our OT students and social work students, and these are professions that we really need and students we really value, and their borrowing has been cut back.
Lindsay's financial aid came through this morning, a day before her bill is due. Instead of owing nearly $26,000 for the upcoming school year, student loans will cover all but $7,000. Lindsay and her mom say they want the federal government to stop messing around with financial aid.
I mean, these kids want to go to school and get an education so that they can have, a good, successful life. And the government is just making it harder and harder with all the changes that they.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. Meanwhile, school is almost back in session, but many families and teachers are being squeezed by the increased costs of back-to-school shopping. As Allison LaPierre reports, one local shop is trying to ease that pressure.
For students, a new school year means new classes, new teachers, and often a long list of school supplies. And for many teachers, cost for classroom supplies often come out of their own pockets.
Our primary mission is helping
the teachers get what they need for their classrooms.
Ruth's Reusable Resources, or the 3 Rs in Portland, has been helping teachers and students for more than 3 decades. It connects teachers with donated classroom materials at a low cost.
The schools pay a small per student membership fee to help us cover expenses. But after that, the teachers come and take whatever they want or need at no cost to the teacher.
Lisa Thomas-Willie knows cost can be tight. It's tight for them, too. For the last 20 years, the 3 Rs have filled backpacks at no cost for students in need. This year, it had to pause the program due to increased prices.
In the last 4 years, our budget, if we had to purchase all of the items that we put in the backpacks, increased by over $20,000. And when you couple that with fewer donations, it was just not sustainable for us.
The 3 Rs hopes to continue the backpack program next year, but it still provides educators a way to reuse and recycle tons of school supplies.
With the cost of everything going up, we know that the teachers spend a lot of money out of their pockets, and parents and families are stretched much thinner. And when they can't pay for groceries or they are having trouble making rent, they obviously cannot afford to go buy their kid school supplies.
Willie says work wouldn't be possible without supply and financial donations.
Even though everything is donated, we do have to pay to get it here, whether that renting a truck and spending our time to go pick it up, or paying for a semi-truck to bring a load from out of state. Those are costs that we incur, along with all of the other costs that any business has. The more that we can get in here, the more that we can provide them. That's less that the school has to pay, that's less that the teacher has to pay.
And that was Allison LaPierre reporting. Into Belfast now, with students gearing up to head back to school. 2 organizations in Waldo County have teamed up to launch a new tradition to help ease some of the burdens of back-to-school shopping. Today, the Waldo County YMCA and the Waldo County Community Action Partners held the inaugural School-a-Palooza. The free community event is designed to help Waldo County students head back to the classroom with all the tools they need for success. Centered around the theme, Kindness Rocks. Children received free backpacks, school supplies, and free haircuts.
Really, my goal is to provide kids with the best opportunities that they can to succeed in school. And that seems like giving them supplies and support and encouragement and inspiration. So hopefully this will do that.
Waldo Cap gives away backpacks annually for qualifying income levels as part of a federally awarded grant. But organizers say they wanted to host something with no income restrictions to make it more accessible for families.
So we really just wanted to do something different this year and to rally our community so that the kids in this community, the Waldo County community, feel like they are supported by everybody. I think that's really important for families to feel like they have the support of their community behind them.
The event benefited more than 100 students. It also featured a BMX freestyle stunt show, ice cream, and a free hot dog lunch served by the Belfast VFW. What a cool event there. All right, folks, after the break, the weekend review. What stories made the list? Find out next.
It's a question so hard.
No!
Could you survive?
What? We just broke a record for people going out.
The 1% Club season finale, all new Monday on Fox.
I'm a 5th-generation logger from Allagash. I grew up a poor kid in a town full of poor people, doing everything right and still struggling to get ahead. And it's worse now. People in this country work so damn hard and still feel so damn broke. That's no way to live. Susan Collins keeps telling us that everything's fine, but we know it's not. We all have eyes, paychecks, and bills. We know we're getting screwed. You deserve better. I'm Troy Jackson. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes.
Going up? Actually, I'm going down. Yeah, me too. My A1C is under 7%. Mounjaro? You know it. My man. Hey. Ouch. Since I started taking Mounjaro for my type 2 diabetes, I'm a bit of a Mounjaro magnet. I lowered my A1C and I lost some weight. Check out my pants. I'm good. Never a dull moment.
With Mounjaro, 3 out of 4 adults reached an A1C under 7% and maintained it. And some lost up to 25 pounds.
Like this gal right here. Nice, Mom.
Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects may include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. And before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and may cause kidney problems.
Hey, Mom, what do you say we take the stairs?
Stairs is a great idea.
Ask your doctor about once weekly Mounjaro, paid partnership with Lilly.
When Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, want to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Blazing Trails is Lincoln's #1 trusted dispensary, providing outstanding product and customer service to Eastern and Central Maine.
Welcome back and welcome into our weekend show segment, The Weekend Review. Each Saturday and Sunday, we take suggestions to stories here at ABC 7 and Fox 22, ranging from breaking news to feel-good features that stood out to you during our weekday and air them in its entirety. First, a portion of the Llewellyn Estes Bridge in Old Town collapsed while a construction crew was at work back on Thursday. According to the Maine Department of Transportation, the collapse happened at around 2 p.m. Thursday afternoon while a construction crew was pouring concrete for the bridge deck as part of its drawn-out reconstruction project. A local resident we spoke with on Thursday heard the collapse as it happened.
I live next street over. Heard a very loud sound, and I thought a crane maybe had toppled over. And then I went across the river from my house and I checked, and first I thought it was the temporary bridge that broken up because a lot of heavy traffic, I can hear it all night long, big trucks rolling over. And then I took a better look and I realized that was the new bridge that collapsed. That's a big surprise to me.
The city's public safety officials told us one person was sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, while 2 others were treated and released on scene.
First unit on scene from us found out there was only 1 patient that needed transport with a leg injury, and 2 others with minor injuries that were treated on scene and released.
When you're driving there, that's what you're thinking, man, we're going to jump in the river, or is there going to be people stuck underneath it or trapped under concrete or something, and thank God that none of that occurred.
Both Chiefs Hildreth and White say the temporary bridge that runs parallel from the Llewellyn Estes Bridge was not damaged. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Maine DOT says they are actively collecting data and information from all involved in the aspects of design, fabrication, and construction of the Estes Bridge. Next, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is taking part in a nationally recognized initiative that aims to transform the lives of incarcerated individuals through education. Our Grace Blanchard reported on this story back on Wednesday.
The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is joining a nationwide effort to equip inmates with the skills and knowledge needed to break the cycle of incarceration.
We are going to protect the public from dangerous people. That's critical. But while people are incarcerated, we have a chance to offer them an opportunity to change their lives.
The Sheriff's Office is the first site in Maine to launch IGNITE, which stands for Inmate Growth Naturally and Intentionally Through Education. The initiative, formed by the National Sheriff's Association, is designed to reduce recidivism by offering structured access to education online.
This is a powerful tool for the individual themselves, the inmates, but what a powerful tool for our staff as well to know that somebody's more focused on their education and self-help than they are of being disruptive or being caught up in their addiction.
The program has now reached 40 counties. It encourages participation by allowing inmates to earn privileges through consistent engagement.
What better way to do than to use education opportunity for them while they're there to help to reintegrate into society in a constructive manner.
Researchers from Harvard, Brown, and University of Michigan found that just 1 month of IGNITE reduces 3-month recidivism by 24%.
I hope that this is a standard for county jails someday. I hope that we don't remember a time when there wasn't IGNITE, where that's just, how a county jail does business.
Sheriff Morton said the initiative provides a creative approach to easing overcrowding and structural issues at the aging facility.
We know that we have a dilapidated building. Here's something that's really powerful happening inside there, and we hope that this bridge, this pathway to recovery, will start in the jail and continue on when they leave.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Finally, the staff at Down East Horizons offered a scenic train ride for children and adults with developmental disabilities. Our Sam Miller brought us this story back on Monday.
Down East Horizons is providing service to people with disabilities and developmental issues since 1974. And on Monday, they took to the rails to help them create a memory that will last a lifetime. Nearly 140 children and adults with Down East Horizons gathered at Washington Junction in Hancock to take a ride aboard the Down East Scenic Railroad. The group chugged from Hancock to Ellsworth Falls and across the Union River Bridge along the Maine Central Railroad. The ride gives participants the opportunity to experience a part of railroad history in Maine while enjoying their time together. The executive director of Down East Horizons, Anthony Zambrano, described how grateful he is to be able to give the participants an unforgettable memory.
It's a nice, brief, wonderful, relaxing train ride. And a train is something that, not a lot of people get to do. I'm just so blessed to be able to lead a company that affords these individuals to come visit us the opportunity to do this.
After the train turned around and coupled onto the back cars, the group made their way back.
It makes me feel great, seeing everyone just happy and feeling included in the community.
Just the sound of the train and the blowing of the whistle and just the moving of the train. I love trains.
As the train came to a stop and everyone piled off, they were already excited to climb aboard next year. In Hancock, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And as the Weekend Review segment continues, we'd like you at home to be a part of it. Didn't see a story you thought should have been included? Then email us throughout the week at weekendreview@wvii.com for what stories during the past week made an impact or stood out to you. Tune in again next Saturday night here on Fox 22 News at 10 for a new slate of local stories. All right, folks, Chase Ropanak is in next with your full 5-day forecast.
A pretty nice weekend overall so far, but a lot of cloud cover for today. Many of us did stay dry throughout the afternoon, but those clouds are going to lead to some rain showers out there for tonight. How much rain are we expecting? Well, we'll have those answers coming right up.
He put his life on the line for his country. Senator Susan Collins isn't forgetting him or any of our veterans. She's delivered millions in federal funding to improve housing for veterans across Maine and provide housing vouchers to make sure Maine veterans have a place to call home. She's also worked tirelessly to provide the quality mental health care our veterans deserve. Call and tell Senator Collins to keep fighting for our veterans.
This is the mattress America has waited 250 years for, the Treasure Mattress. Consumer Reports recommended, crafted to deliver some serious ease. With 8 layers of cooling comfort, support, and pressure relief for a deep restorative sleep. Plus an 18-year warranty and over 1,000 5-star reviews, you know it's a smart choice.
Because the American dream can't happen unless we all get some serious American sleep.
Oh, my Bob! Bob's Discount Furniture.
In the ICU, I've seen patients being bankrupted by the cost of care, and they're having to travel 3 and 4 hours to receive that care. This didn't just happen. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Labor and delivery centers are closing. Hospitals are closing. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers Central and Eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters turn scrap into cash.
Quiz with balls. Release the ball. Let's get it on. It's Cash or Splash.
The Quiz with Balls, all new Mondays on Fox.
Thank you very much. We started off the weekend Saturday with sunshine, and today it was cloud cover. It did keep us a bit cooler out there, not too much cooler, still mid-70s, very comfortable to be outside for your temperatures here in Bangor. Low to mid-70s along your coastline, a little bit of a sea breeze out there for today. You did see upper 70s near Sanford and Freiburg, but the cloud cover did reach you first up north, so you were a bit cooler out there as well, looking at low to mid-70s in the northern tier of the state for your afternoon highs today. Now, a lot of us are going to stay warm tonight as clouds continue to roll across the region. They'll act as a blanket as we have some low pressure pass through with some rain showers as well. Some of us can dip into the upper 50s, but for the most part, many of us in the low to mid 60s out there for tonight. Into tomorrow, we're really not going to see a big increase in temperatures because the cloudy skies are going to stick around with a few showers as well. The models show us in the low 70s, but with the thick cloud cover, more than likely mid to upper 60s for our highs across the state tomorrow. So the average high at 80, right? Well, we're going to be well below that tomorrow. Even into your Tuesday, only low 70s, still a lot of cloud cover to get through, but the sun returns Wednesday into Thursday, and you'll definitely feel it with low to mid 80s back after a few cool days. And then we're right back in your average with upper 70s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday into next weekend. So here we are wind-wise out there for tonight. There will be a breeze in place, and it's going to continue into tomorrow. We can see south winds gusting near 25 miles per hour in some spots for tomorrow morning. It actually looks to lighten up throughout the afternoon hours, but that'll happen slowly. So tomorrow night, much lighter conditions. Still expect the breeze throughout the day, and it can be a little breezy again heading into your Tuesday. But we are all wanting to know what time that rain is arriving for tonight. It looks to be right around 3 a.m. or so, especially here in Bangor. It's going to arrive earlier off to the west, a little bit later off to the east. As we go throughout the night, those showers will start to become a little bit lighter, especially into tomorrow afternoon. But there will still be a lot of widespread cloud cover, a lot of fog in the area. There is expected to be some wind from the south, but still a chance for scattered showers all across the state for your Monday afternoon. They will be lighter than the showers we see for tonight. But into your Tuesday, this is where we're still looking to stay cloudy, and there looks to be a boundary riding right along the border of the northern and western tier of the state. That's where a few showers can hang out, otherwise dry conditions for much of your Tuesday as we're back in the low 70s. But how much rainfall is on the way for tonight? Looking to be close to a half inch here in the Bangor area, more as you go to the west. This is where the rain is going to be heaviest out there for tonight. So the southwestern portion of the state can see definitely over a half inch of rainfall. Even to the northern tier of the state, they got some opportunities as well. But otherwise, the more east you go, the less you'll see, closer to a quarter inch of rainfall. But still, beneficial rainfall is on the way after those drought conditions we've been seeing. So tonight, we got the rain showers coming in. We got lows in the low 60s, areas of dense fog out there for tonight, of course, with cloudy skies. A little bit of a breeze out there, but keeping the clouds tomorrow. The wind will pick up, gusting near 25 miles per hour, but those clouds are going to keep our highs cooler in the mid to upper 60s as scattered showers make their way through the area. So taking a look at your extended forecast, back in the low 70s Tuesday, a slight chance for a few showers, but we're back in the low 80s with sunshine Wednesday and the Thursday. There can be a slight chance for a few thunderstorms Wednesday, otherwise dry. And continuing to stay dry into Friday, you'll see partly cloudy skies, highs then in the mid to upper 70s.
Something to keep an eye out for. Chase, thank you for that report. Doc Rivers, the head coach of the 2008 Celtics championship team, was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame last night. Rivers played 14 seasons in the NBA, getting an All-Star nod in 1988. Upon retirement, he moved into coaching, starting with the Orlando Magic, and won Coach of the Year in his first season as a head coach. In 2004, he began his head coaching tenure with the Boston Celtics. 4 years later, he'd be at the helm for the Celtics 2008 championship team, snapping the franchise's 22-year title drought. At the start of his Hall of Fame speech last night in Springfield, Massachusetts, he wanted those in attendance to know a few things about him.
Standing here tonight, my voice is already raspy. I want to know you guys to know a couple of quick things, that this isn't my real voice. Coaching stole it from me. Those guys, I swear, I used to have a high voice. I used to be able to really sing. Can't do that anymore. And my name is not Doc Rivers. My name is Glenn Rivers, all right? I grew.
Those guys who welcomed him into the Hall of Fame and shared the stage with Glenn Rivers were Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, who became known as Boston's Big Three and were key to that 2008 title. His time with the Celtics would come to an end in 2013, where he'd go on to coach multiple teams, most notably the Lob City Los Angeles Clippers. He was selected into the NBA's 15 greatest coaches in NBA history, an honor he shares alongside Celtics legend Red Auerbach. Cooper and Ace Flag held their third annual basketball clinic yesterday, and back on the diamond was a community favorite wiffle ball tournament. Sports Director Jack Webb has those local sports stories after the break here on Fox 22 News at 10.
You don't get to buy the government that you want.
But let's look at what Troy Jackson did, because Troy Jackson likes to keep it in the family. When Jackson was state Senate president, his son was one of the highest paid lobbyists in town. Special interests paid his son, and Jackson changed his positions. Was it a coincidence? Or was something corrupt? Troy Jackson is just another dirty politician. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Around here, you take pride in your home, and who you trust to work on it matters. That's why folks turn to AF&F Carpentry. From kitchens and custom woodwork to full home renovations, we bring military-grade discipline and focus to every project. Our work has been featured on Operation CEO. No shortcuts, no surprises, just solid craftsmanship you can count on. AF&F Carpentry, serving Maine homeowners with pride.
In the ICU, I've seen patients being bankrupted by the cost of care, and they're having to travel 3 and 4 hours to receive that care. This didn't just happen. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Labor and delivery centers are closing. Hospitals are closing. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
This fall, everyone's favorite small-town doc is back.
The level of stupidity in this town can never be overestimated.
Best Medicine premieres September 22nd on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. The Maine basketball royal family's back together in Maine, holding their 3rd annual Flag Brothers Basketball Pro Camp over the weekend. Hundreds of kids between 1st and 6th grade took to the University of Maine campus to participate in this weekend's camp. The campers were put through a number of fundamental drills and controlled scrimmages while Cooper and Ace floated around, interacting with campers and giving out some tips while making kids' days with a simple high five, and they hope their fellow Mainers enjoy every second.
Yeah, just to soak it all in. I feel like when I was young, I didn't have this type of, experience or exposure to, players like this, and there wasn't really anything like this. So I think it's just really cool that we get to give them this experience, and I'm just really blessed at this whole opportunity. And, it's been great for the past 3 years to be able to come out here and just give back.
If we can inspire, the love for the game of basketball that we had as kids and these kids, show them that the game can be fun. It's supposed to be fun. I think that's the main goal.
The Mavericks clearly aren't taking flag for granted as new head coach Dusty May, who's fresh off winning a national championship with Michigan, along with new president Masih Ujiri and GM Mike Schmitz, were all in attendance in Orono on Saturday, along with other Mavericks personnel.
It means a lot, obviously for them to come up and show support, and obviously there's a bunch of people from last year's staff that was here, and Brandon Barkley, our head of player relations, and the media team is here again. So it's been really cool to have them come back twice, and some of the new staff to be able to get up here and spend some time in Maine is really cool.
Always great to see Coop back in Maine. Speaking of annual events, Wayne's Wiffle for a Wish returned to Bangor this past Saturday for their 18th annual charity wiffle ball tournament. Former Bangor sports media personality Wayne Harvey says he and his wife were thinking of ways to give back following the health struggles of their middle daughter. Fast forward almost 2 decades later, and their idea of a charity wiffle ball tournament is still going strong.
I didn't have a plan of how long this would last, how much we would, what did we have for a target goal. It just kind of evolved and grew. And my wife and I were talking about it, and it started the first year in a rainstorm. And she didn't even stay the whole day. And now, our kids are working here, and our friends' kids are working here. And it's grown exponentially. And it's amazing to see, where it started to where it is now. And I don't know what happens next.
Over those 18 years, Wayne's Wiffle for a Wish is zeroing in on $250,000 raised, with all proceeds going to Make-A-Wish Maine. Harvey says it's hard to even comprehend the impact of a wiffle ball tournament has made.
From playing wiffle ball, it's a kid's game. And for 18 years we've been doing this, and there's so many people that rotate in and out, and we're going to raise $250,000 and be able to give that back and see the people it helps. It's mind-blowing. All stays within the state. It helps out kids and families. And that's the beautiful thing about Make-A-Wish, is they don't pick and choose about it's this diagnosis or that diagnosis. It's how can we help? And they help out so many kids and so many families, and the siblings and the parents, whether it's that break from hospitals and visits and all that stuff, or it's something that they need desperately to make their lives better day to day.
It really is incredible that a wiffle ball tournament has raised almost $250,000. Shout out to Wayne Harvey and that crew. Down in Foxborough, Patriots wide receiver Kyle Williams is making plays, with many wondering if he will make the Patriots roster. I asked Patriots Hall of Famer Troy Brown what he'd say to Kyle Williams if he was his coach. Take a look. Troy, you're Kyle Williams' position coach. Tomorrow morning, you watch a film, he walks in the room, you got him one-on-one. What are you saying to him?
Kyle, you got to diversify yourself, man. You got to give us something different than just running by people. I know you can do it consistently. No matter what, they know you're going to run past them. We know you can do that consistently, but I got to have you in the game, running the in cut, running the curl, running the comeback, whatever it may be. You got to be able to execute in that part of the game, and then be able to catch and run with the ball too as well. So we're gonna keep working on this, Kyle. We're going to get in here, we're going to watch the film, we're going to talk about it, we're going to work on your acceleration, we're going to work on your deceleration, getting in and out of the breaks, creating separation at the top of the route, whether it's chicken winging the guy, whatever it is, I give him a little two-step at the top. We got to work on some things to get you open in the intermediate part of the field.
That was from the Patriots post-game show on Patriots.com and their YouTube. Fired up to be the host of the pre- and post-game show this year. You can find it on Patriots.com and their YouTube every game day. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
He put his life on the line for his country. Senator Susan Collins isn't forgetting him or any of our veterans. She's delivered millions in federal funding to improve housing for veterans across Maine and provide housing vouchers to make sure Maine veterans have a place to call home. She's also worked tirelessly to provide the quality mental health care our veterans deserve. Call and tell Senator Collins to keep fighting for our veterans.
Chevy drivers across America will do a lot in the next 5 years. But one thing they won't do is pay interest on their new Chevy. Right now, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500 models, with no payments for 90 days. Because you've earned this summer. Now it's time to go get it.
Visit your Maine Chevy dealers.
Way up north in Maine, down a road less traveled, lies Golden Road Crossing. We have everything you need to gear up for epic hikes, days spent fishing, and nights under the star-filled skies. Join us at Golden Road Yacht Club for cold drinks and Maine-grown comfort food. Gather round to make new friends, share stories, and create memories to last a lifetime. Come visit us at Golden Road Crossing, your hub on Maine's legendary Golden Road.
I'm a fifth-generation logger from Allagash. I grew up a poor kid in a town full of poor people, doing everything right and still struggling to get ahead. And it's worse now. People in this country work so damn hard and still feel so damn broke. That's no way to live. Susan Collins keeps telling us that everything's fine, but we know it's not. We all have eyes, paychecks, and bills. We know we're getting screwed. You deserve better. I'm Troy Jackson. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
When the morning light hits Maine, start your day with a good morning, Maine. Craig Colson, Janessa Bishop, by your side, bringing the stories that matter statewide. Local news and the forecast ahead. Wake up informed, ready to go on ABC 7 and Fox 22.
The Big Ten, Big 12, and Mountain West. This is a gift from the football gods. College football on Fox.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. I'm Doug Banks. Some of Bangor's bravest will be getting out on the green next weekend for a good cause. The Bangor Professional Firefighters IAFF Union is once again partnering with the Muscular Dystrophy Association for the Adam McDonald Memorial MDA Open on Saturday, August 22nd. The tournament is returning to Pine Hill Golf Course in Orrington and costs $250 per four-person team. All ages and skill levels are welcome. All proceeds will be going to support research toward a cure for muscular dystrophy.
We started this tournament about 10 years ago, and in 2021 we renamed it in honor of Adam McDonald, who was a close friend of a lot of firefighters and died of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And since then, We have worked with his mom, Cheryl, to honor his legacy, his memory, and continue his fight for a cure for muscular dystrophy.
There is still plenty of time to sign up to enjoy a day on the course while supporting that mission. Visit Bangor Professional Firefighters on Facebook for more information. Hundreds cycled, ran, and walked around Brewer yesterday as part of the annual Northern Light Health Champion the Cure Challenge. It's a way to show support for those impacted by cancer while raising money for research, treatments, and the pathway to a cure. Our Callie Warren has the sights and sounds.
I love that this day celebrates everybody who's been touched by cancer. It's the survivors, it's the supports, it's everybody. 3, 2, 1. You know that everyone here has had some sort of really difficult journey as a patient, as a caregiver, and we are all here to celebrate that we're still here and that there are advancements that continue to happen every day. Research is a huge part of what happens here.
Support is a part of healing, and when we see this many people coming out to support our patients and their neighbors and their friends, it is amazing. There have been a lot of people that have been touched by cancer, and so people want to be a part of the cure.
Brings the whole community together, and we see our co-workers in a different scenario where we're all out supporting these patients together, and it feels great.
Every year we're excited to see our patients. We're very happy to see them in clinic, and then they look forward to this event each time. I think we're the lucky ones to be able to be part of their lives.
And if you missed yesterday's walk, run, and cycle, but still want to support the Champion the Cure mission, visit that story on our website, foxbangor.com. And that was our Callie Warren reporting, by the way. Finally here tonight, Castine's Wilson Museum preserves human history that goes beyond the small coastal town. I was recently given the opportunity to go on a tour of the museum, and those I spoke with said the historic place offers visitors an opportunity to learn and appreciate the world around them. The goal of the Wilson Museum in Castine is to exhibit centuries of human creativity.
The museum was founded in 1921 by John Howard Wilson, who was a summer resident of Castine, fascinated with archaeology and anthropology and geology, and had built up a collection.
I think it's a draw to a small town that maybe doesn't have a museum or have something this spectacular.
Thousands of pieces fill the museum, including European stone tools made
hundreds of thousands of years ago,
a model of the Defense,
which was one of the American vessels in the Penobscot expedition,
and even a glow-in-the-dark rock collection.
It's very low-tech and really cool little piece of science.
Beyond the glass exhibits is the John and Phoebe Perkins House, a pre-Revolutionary War home the museum took stewardship of in the 1970s.
It's that human connection and travel across time.
During July and August, they offer multi-generational learning opportunities called Hands-On History.
Perennial favorite is our wood shop. We have a blacksmith shop. The museum, you can see all kinds of cool things, but they're static. So this gives visitors a chance to see the creation process.
I really like how it gets across all of the experiences and how it does things hands-on.
Museum officials hope the people who stop by 107 Perkins Street leave with a new piece of understanding of somebody other than themselves.
That idea that you can make some connection with someone whose life is different from yours and continue to expand that way of seeing our world as all of the people and all of their differences and how exciting that is.
In Castine, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News. And folks, that is all we have for tonight. I'm Doug Banks, and from everyone here at Fox 22 News at 10, thank you for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, and hopefully you are too. Until then, take care and good night.
Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes.
Going up?
Actually, I'm going down.
Yeah, me too. My A1C's under 7%.
Mounjaro?
You know it.
My man.
Hey. Ouch. Since I started taking Mounjaro for my type 2 diabetes, I'm a bit of a Mount Jaro magnet.
I lowered my A1C and I lost some weight. Check out my pants.
I'm good. Never a dull moment.
With Mounjaro, 3 out of 4 adults reached an A1C under 7% and maintained it. And some lost up to 25 pounds.
Like this gal right here.
Nice, Mom.
Don't take Mounjaro if you're allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Stop and call your doctor right away if you have an allergic reaction, a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or vision changes. Serious side effects may include inflamed pancreas and gallbladder problems. Taking Mounjaro with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Tell your doctor if you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. And before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and may cause kidney problems.
Hey, Mom, what do you say we take the stairs?
Stairs is a great idea.
Ask your doctor about once-weekly Mounjaro. Paid partnership with Lilly.
I went to work in the woods after high school. The harder we worked, the more that the companies took from us. That's why we organized. We made them listen. People are doing everything they can right and still cannot get ahead. Susan Collins keeps telling us everything is just fine. Who has she served? She has served Donald Trump. She has served the billionaires. She has served herself. We are getting screwed, and I'm running to change that.
Government That Works PAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
25 words or less.
Wed,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You just won it!
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Your goal is to put items in the correct order before,
In between.
definitely after.
This is The Perfect Line. Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.